Yo, how's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here, and welcome to another review of the Pokemon Aim to be a Pokemon Master miniseries. Today we're going to be covering Episode 3, and Ash has returned to the Galar region. This time, Misty is visiting for the first time, and then they run into Brock and Cilan, who are also in Galar at the same time, and a bunch of shenanigans happen. So, yeah, how was this episode overall? Well, before we get to that, I just want to say really quickly, if you're someone that's new to the channel and you like this type of content, it'd be pretty cool if you would like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It would be really awesome if you would do that. But I think we should talk about this episode now. So Ash and Misty have arrived in the Galar region, and they stop at a cafe at Stoneside. It turns out that Brock is actually working there because he's simping for one of the ladies that works there. And, yeah, he's fallen in love with her, but she has a boyfriend, so, yeah, Brock goes into his depression mode. And then we run into Cilan, which I thought was pretty interesting that Misty recognized Cilan from Ash's lure from the previous episode. So that was kind of nice. So, yeah, we got Ash, Misty, Brock, and Cilan in this episode. That's pretty neat. But anyways, the journey continues, and it's funny because Ash and Cilan are literally dragging Brock at this point. He's just too depressed to move. But then a wild Hatteran that's just hanging out in the woods nearby sees them, and this Hatteran's just basically a troll. It tricks Brock into thinking that it's that girl from the cafe, so he's a major simp and just chases after Hatteran, which that's Hatteran's whole ploy, just to mess with them. So Ash, Misty, and Cilan head into the woods, which is actually the Glimwood Tangle from the Galar region, since it's right by Stoneside, so makes sense. Anyways, they're in the Glimwood Tangle, and we get some returning gags. We get Detective Cilan doing that detective gag from Best Wishes, and then Misty being afraid of bugs, which I thought was kind of funny. But they run into a wild Hatena, which actually helps them out in finding where Brock's at. There's also the Hatterem, which, just basically just goes berserk and just attacks them. But anyways, they eventually catch up, and the Hatteran actually confuses all of them, with Ash getting basically a dream of his mother. He starts chasing after his mom. Misty seeing a bunch of water Pokemon, and Cilan having a fantasy of Ingo and Emmett, which I thought was very interesting. But anyways, after this, they confront Hatteran and Brock again, and Brock, still being in simp mode, thinks that Ash is the boyfriend, so he literally goes into massive simp mode and pulls out his Steelix, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna destroy you guys. And then Cilan and Ash have to battle with Pikachu and Cilan's Pansage, which the Hatena actually ends up getting injured, which Brock comes back to its senses and treats it, because he's a Pokemon doctor, so he steps up and, makes up for what just happened. But yeah, Brock is finally freed, and it's interesting because, once again, Latias made another cameo, so, I guess this is going to be a recurring thing for sure with all these episodes, so I guess be on the lookout for Latias in all these episodes. Now, I haven't really talked about Team Rocket much in this episode, and it's because they don't really do anything. They basically show up, they try to, plot to steal Pikachu and the other Pokemon, and they end up getting trolled by Hatteran, and they're basically stuck in that fantasy, and Hatteran is just laughing maniacally at the end of the episode. But besides that, we have Ash, Misty, and now Brock, who has joined them on Ash's journey, going wherever he wants to. But unfortunately, Cilan decides to part ways with them. Yeah, unfortunately. But yep, that's pretty much where the episode comes in, with Ash, Misty, and now Brock going out on the journey. Cilan doing his own thing, and Team Rocket presumably being stuck in that Grimwood Tangle for quite a while, since they're under Hatteran's control. And I should also mention that, unfortunately, there's no Team Rocket and Paldea segment for this episode, so I'm guessing that they're done doing that, and that was just done for the starters and then the two mascot legendary Pokemon, so yeah, I wasn't sure what else they were going to do with that, but it appears that that's done now. Now, overall, I'll admit that this episode did kind of seem kind of fillerish, even though Brock is joining the team in this episode and carrying forward. I will say that despite it feeling like a filler episode, it was fun. I've always said that if you're going to do a filler episode, make it entertaining. Case in point, the baseball episode from Sun and Moon. If you have an entertaining filler episode, then I'm pretty much fine with it. Not the best episode in the world, but it's entertaining, so it's good by me. Now, at least we know where Ash, Misty, and Brock and Cilan were at, because with the first 2 episodes, it was kind of up in the air, but with this episode, it is pretty clear they were in Galar, so hopefully with the rest of these episodes, we know where Ash and the others are heading to. Because, it was kind of neat to see all these characters not only together, but in the Galar region of all places. Because Misty, Brock, and Cilan haven't been to the Galar region in the series yet, so it's kind of neat to see all of them there. So now that we know the episode titles and summaries for episodes 6 and 7, which, by the way, I will be making a video on that, probably will be coming out tomorrow, but it's on the way, just saying. But, since we know the episode titles and summaries for those episodes, I'm beginning to wonder if not all of Ash's companions are going to be showing up here. And it's pretty clear with this episode that only Misty and Brock are going to be following Ash. I mean, I guess it makes sense that since they're the original trio, it makes sense for Ash's final chapter to end with the original trio. So, that's cool and all. It's just, I was hoping that all of Ash's companions would travel with them and it'd just be this whole big party, but I guess that was too much to ask for, unfortunately. So yeah. But I'm wondering if not all of Ash's companions are going to even show up at all. Like, I get that Misty and Brock are here, and then Cilan was in this episode as well, but these were characters that were not prominently featured within Journeys. Brock had the most prominence just because he was in that Arceus special. He did appear briefly in that one episode where he was simping for Jessie for some reason, and obviously he cameoed in the Masters 8. Misty, she didn't appear in Journeys until that cameo in the Masters 8, and then at the very end where she met Go. And then we have Cilan that was with Brock watching the Masters 8. So I guess they were just hanging out together or something like that, but they were kind of separated within this episode at the beginning, so who knows. But I'm just wondering if not all of Ash's companions are going to appear. Like, these are the ones that didn't really get much of a major focus, or like minor focus, whatever you want to call it, within Journeys, because obviously you had Clement and Bonnie show up. They helped Ash in his prepare for his Elite Four battle against Dresna. You had Dawn appear several times, obviously, to promote, the Diamond and Pearl remakes. You had Iris come back as a champion. Serena come back, just as a few examples. So I'm at least hoping that maybe May and Max appear at some point, and maybe Tracy. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, since they weren't really prominently featured in Journeys either. Here's the hoping that happens, but yeah, we know the episode's up to episode 7, and I'm not seeing it. Maybe Tracy appears in episode 7, but I'll talk about that in a separate video anyway, so that's not here or there, so yeah. You guys know what I mean. I'm just blabbing on now. Now, the only thing I was kind of disappointed with when it comes to this episode was the fact that only Pikachu of Ash's Pokemon appeared in this episode. And I'm like, really? We couldn't have at least one other Pokemon show up at all? The last 2 episodes, we had 4 Pokemon out of Ash's reserves from Oak's Lab show up. And then next week, we got 4 coming as well. Why didn't any of Ash's other Pokemon show up in this episode besides Pikachu? I don't know, it felt a little weird. I mean, we only have another, 8 episodes left of this series, so it's like, that means we only potentially have so many more Pokemon that can be showcased in these episodes, and some are probably not going to get the time of day, it seems like. Which is, it's a little disappointing. I mean, I'll say that I haven't been the biggest fan of how they've been handled in the first 2 episodes, but to not have them at all is even worse in my opinion, so, yeah, that's the one thing I did not like about this episode. Alrighty guys, that's all I got for this video. Not really much else to talk about, just, a fun episode overall. Not a great episode, not a bad episode. It's a solid 7 out of 10, just like last week's episode, so yeah. That's all I got. So post your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and have a good day or night wherever you're at, guys, and I'll see you all later. Bye.